just got in a huge load of furniture, awesome, pretty stuff. And there was a piece of furniture that I was wondering about, and Kevin said something about when it was dated. And I was like, how in the world do you know that? This is it right here. It's a beautiful Eastlake piece. And luckily I have Kevin here to tell you all about why he knows when it was made. All right, Kevin, what's up?
Hello, New Leafers. How are you today? Chelsea wanted me to share with you why I believe that this piece was made between 1890 and 1900. So I can tell you a few things. Number one is you can just look at it and tell that it's an Eastlake piece. Charles Eastlake was a furniture designer. He actually never made furniture himself, but he was an architect, and so he liked to design furniture and then have cabinet makers make the pieces. And why he was so important was because he was a transition between the Victorian era and what moved more into like the mission style and the more straight line era. So in the Victorian era, you know, the big ornately carved pieces with all the fruit and flowers and all the carvings. Eastlake didn't think much of that. He felt like furniture should actually be functional more than it was pretty. And so he moved everything in the world eventually from the real ornate style into the more straight line style. And so that's what this is. And they generally had marble tops most of the time. And these were the first manufactured furniture pieces by a manufacturing company. So they were mass produced. It was the first time really furniture was mass produced. One way that we know for sure, Chelsea, that it was 1890 to 1900 is there's these little, this is called a pin and cove dovetail. If you can see it, it's kind of bright out here. This is a pin and cove dovetail, little pins with these little arches, and those were only produced from 1890 to 1900. It was the first non-handmade dovetail that was made by a machine, and it totally revolutionized furniture making, and it made furniture accessible to so many more people because it was they could mass produce it. So this was definitely 1890 to 1900. Another really cool thing about this piece, you may not be able to see this. Let me find a good example. Is you can see when you look at a piece of wood, you can see these circular saw marks. The saw marks are like arched instead of straight. And so this was made by a circular saw in a manufacturing company, and that was right around the turn of the century. I think somewhere between like maybe 1880 to maybe 1910 or 1920. So you know that it's within that range just based on the type of saw that was used to make this. And you can see that if you look at the back here, you can see that all over this piece of furniture. Every saw mark that you can see is like a circular pattern. Hope you can see that on the video. So this one's had some repair. You can see these are Phillips head screwdrivers. Screws, which were invented around the 50s. So you know that this is a newer piece, and there's some other things that's been replaced on this piece of furniture. But the circular saw marks dated around the turn of the century, but especially the pin and cove dovetail joints on the drawers. So that's how we know that this was made between 1890 and 1900.
Rock on.
Live for less, give more.
Thanks, Kevin.